Hey everybody, this is Kirk from 9 Volt Games. I'm going to try and make this quick because I may or may not have the Rona. Should I start this over? No. Okay, so I'm kind of being a dick about this because this game was fantastic, but it was hard. So I don't believe a lot of the other professional reviewers out there that they even beat this game. Especially since someone like Kotaku, like a publication like Kotaku, which had a hard time doing the demo for Final Fantasy VII, there's no way on earth anyone at their office beat this game. It is fucking hard. Comparative to Doom 2016, it is like if you're playing it on Hurt Me Plenty, it's the equivalent of playing it on Nightmare in 2016. Now, granted, the progression system in this game is deeper, but it does not make you a god like it does in the last game. So let me get complaints out of the way first, right? Here's things I disliked about it that I thought I was going to like. The platforming. They went heavy on the platforming. And I was saying it. I beat this game. I have a full playthrough of it in parts, obviously, but it's over my Twitch channel. And I died a majority of the time failing platforming. And it's not like it was difficult. It's the mid-air movement wasn't so precise, and a lot of the things that they had lined up, especially later on in the game, and it wasn't to find secrets, it was for actual level progression, was a bit out there. There's one in particular where you have to go line up these rings to open a portal, and there's spoilers for that part, so if you don't want to see it, don't watch that part. That's more towards the end. But you basically have to launch yourself in the air, hit this not a portal, but it's kind of like one of those sonic warp rings that make you fly forward. I don't know why I did the sound effect. And then all of a sudden it'll have you going straight, and then the next one is just off to the side facing the other way. So you gotta kind of turn a little bit in midair, try and double jump. I took medicine because I'm not feeling good, but I loaded up on medicine before I did this video, and so if I mumble or say some weird shit, just it's probably normal. I would have done it without medicine anyways. I don't know why I'm using an excuse. But anyways, double jump, not double jump. I guess you could do that. That's what I was doing while I was doing it. You have to double jump and then you have to double boost like into it, and it's just fucking ridiculous. Like the things that they expect you to do. So you'll get the hang of it, and then once you do it, it's kind of like you get that reward of, oh my god, I finally did it, until you die, and then you have to go back and do it again. That shit's obnoxious. But my complaint wasn't necessarily with the platforming itself. The platforming, once you get the hang of it, like I said, once you actually have all the abilities, the double jump, the double dash, all that shit, and you're working it together, and you learn your button combinations of, all right, I have to jump, dash, jump, grab onto a wall, all that shit. And then with the progression, you make it so you can reach further while you're trying to actually grab onto a wall, stuff like that. Once you get everything, it's 10 times easier. And like I was saying, I could understand that difficulty for platforming in a game that's not known for platforming if it was the requirement to unlock secrets, which there's an abundance of, which I'll get into later. But it was just for the level progression, and I was like, at the point where I was like, I have died more of failing platforming than in actual firefights, which is insane because the firefights in this game are off the fucking chain ridiculous. They took everything from Doom 2016 and they turned that shit up to 11. So that was a complaint, but that one's also a negative. It's a double-edged sword. They made the game harder, which means that it's not really approachable to other people. They have the equivalent of what I like to call the Ninja Dog, because that's what it was in Ninja Gaiden Black. If you failed so many times in Ninja Gaiden Black, it would embarrass you. Or in Metal Gear Phantom Pain, it would embarrass you by saying, you can play it on a lower difficulty, but in Ninja Gaiden Black, it was Ninja Dog. And if you failed a bunch in a mission in Metal Gear Phantom Pain, they would give you the chicken hat and then the little chicken hat. And it would make the game easier, but it would be an embarrassment mark on you. In this game, it's called the Sentinel Armor. I had to use it in one level. It was embarrassing because not only it doesn't hinder your progression, it doesn't take away trophies, it doesn't take away achievements, but you did it, and that sucks. So I'm going back and I'm fucking beating the game again. because I did it when I was live on Twitch, and I had to eat. I had to just eat it after like 5 deaths. I was like, fine. But the firefights were insane. And again, that sense of accomplishment when you actually complete it is good, but the anxiety that it puts on you at the time for gaming is the highest that I've ever had in a game. I understand Dark Souls is hard. Dark Souls is hard because it is like, I always rank on it for having a bad game engine. That's what makes it so terrible. But Dark Souls is like a masterclass in precision. You do things, you be precise. I go in a firefight in Doom. I'm locked and loaded. I got my mods ready. Everything that I want ready. My weapon modifications. When I say mods, that's what I meant. I know there's cheats in this game. Again, we'll get to that later. But I didn't use any cheats while I was playing the base game. Never use any cheats when I play a game the first time through. So I have everything ready to go. I get into a firefight and I die in about 2 minutes. I'm so disappointed. And the worst part is I will keep throwing myself into the same firefight with the same loadout, the same modifications, and I'll take the same fucking route over and over and over again. And I believe Voss had something great to say about that for us, about the definition of insanity. But I was determined to do it. So I beat that game my way. I'm sure it could have been a little easier if I had taken different approaches and not went to everything head on over and over, but you need to move. Like Doom 2016, comparative to this, I could probably go back and clear Nightmare after beating this game on Hurt Me Plenty. So, the bad part about that is like when I beat it, obviously I said you had that sense of accomplishment. It's good, blah, blah, blah. It makes it not approachable to the average gamer. I've had more than one person tell me that fuck this game, I don't want to play it anymore. And that makes me sad because it is an amazing game. And they expanded on this universe, which now we're going to go into the positives. Some people didn't think it was a positive, but they added cutscenes in this game. They weren't long. They weren't like Final Fantasy or Metal Gear or any of that. Like they weren't your average cutscenes. They were like 2 minutes tops, and they helped progress the plot line. And some people didn't like that. But the best part is it tells you straight away. Hold square to skip. You don't have to pay attention to any story of this game to still enjoy it. I'm doing my second playthrough right now. I'm skipping all the cutscenes. I enjoyed the cutscenes though. I love the Doom franchise. And like I said, I've said this multiple times in videos. Doom 64 being dedicated to one platform was severely damaging to the series in the sense of lore, because I got into an argument with somebody about this online when they said Doom has no lore, and I said Doom has a plethora of lore. You're just not looking for it. It's all over the place. And they made a direct connection between Doom 64 and this one, which I've said in a past video where I said I believe that the 2016 Doom Marine is the same one from Doom 64, and they kind of solidified that. So if you want, I'm not going to ruin that for anybody, but go in and look for it. They added a level in Doom 64, the re-release, that actually ties it to Doom Eternal. I'm tapping the case like you can see it, but you can't. The weapons are same standard fare that you see in every Doom game. They've upgraded them, made them look fantastic. The modifications have been tweaked. They took away my favorite weapon, which was the Gauss rifle. I loved that weapon. That was my favorite weapon in Doom 2016. That was the heavy damage. You could scope around an area before you jump into a kill box, and you could take out heavies that way. They do have one, like it's called the R Blast, right? Arc Blast or whatever. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It's the spiritual successor to the Gauss rifle. It has plenty of the same, except it's got this really wide shot, fucking looks like a giant boomerang, heads out, and it will cut anything in half, up to a boss pretty much. Oh, speaking of bosses, I just talked to my cousin about this actually. He was talking about fighting the dual marauder, not the dual marauders, sorry, the dual slayers. You have to fight this, the Doom Hunter. You have to fight this Doom Hunter, right? And he's pretty much a buff jack dude on top of a metallic floating platform. You fight one, you kill him, then you have to fight two. And he was telling me, he's like, man, that fight was a bitch. It was fucking hard. And I was like, go get used to it, because he's going to become a standard enemy in a firefight. The firefights have layers. Usually it's fodder. Cut them up with a chainsaw. More on that after. Cut them up with a chainsaw, get yourself some ammo, do a couple glory kills, get yourself some life, and then the heavies start coming out. But they don't just like send out a wave of heavies. They send out heavies, and then you get to a certain point, and then they'll send out what was bosses in the beginning, as heavies in a firefight. So the Marauders were my worst. They had a cutscene for this guy. He was a boss. And then all of a sudden, every firefight you had after, at least one of these fucking douchebags would pop out, sometimes two. And it was insane. I remember the first time I saw him come out in a firefight, I was like, I just killed you. Why am I fighting another one of you? And then another one came out. And then an Archvile came out. And an Archvile is actually, if you don't interrupt them, they summon heavies, which is the worst. Then Kakua demons, they made them easily disposable, but then they ended up replacing them with Element of Pains, which are not easily disposable. But two shots with a nice heavy gun will actually get them, or the lock-on bursts with the rocket launcher will get them. You find a nice like ebb and flow with the way that the firefights go, but sometimes you just get fucking overwhelmed. The standard enemies, the regular zombies, they don't just, it's not one hit, like one pop with a gun and then walk up to them and do a glory kill. They will take a quarter of your life bar with one hit. They will take a quarter of your health. I maxed out my health track, was the first thing I did in that game. I did all this live. I maxed out my character before, way before the last level. Up until, I think there's two in the last level before you actually fight the final boss, which I won't say who it is if you don't already know. I think there was two totems, but I had already done the health and the ammo, and the last two I did was armor. The way that you collect these things, there's pickups in the game, and I didn't like the way that they did this at first, and then I came to appreciate it later on. So you're not always going around the battlefield looking for health, because the glory kills, they're abundant, but they're not as easy to get, and they don't give you as much health this time around. So after I got into the swing of things, you need to light people on fire to get your armor. Armor is way more important in this game than any other Doom. You need to do glory kills, or you need to do big wave kills, which is kill more than one enemy at a time with something explosive in order to get health. And you need to chainsaw for ammo. All these pickups are on the ground, but you will be done with them before the first wave is even done in this game. So you basically need to get into the groove of it. And once you get into it, the game starts to feel really good. It's super fast paced. It will make you anxious. I am sick. I'm out of breath talking about this right now. And I'm trying not to cough because I don't want to scare people away. It's made my chest tight. It made my breathing hard. It did not help me being sick right now at all. But I enjoyed it. And it only took me 2.5 days to beat the game. But I sat down and I played it. This is one of the best things you can play with during isolation. The best part is I have Animal Crossing New Horizons to kind of balance it out in between. So that's what I did. Is I played this and I did like 2 or 3 levels. And if I got frustrated, I went and played Animal Crossing and then came back here. Satan bless you if you sat through and played this game beginning to end with no break. You got some kind of fucking heart on you. I can tell you that. But the game's great. I'm on my second playthrough of it. I'm going through what I call my clean sweep now. With the trophies and achievements in the last game, if you wanted to get all of them and platinum it, you had to do things on your first playthrough. This one, you have to do everything in the same save slot. So that's good. And the amount of collectibles in the game has been ramped up. And there's a toy shelf on your ship because you have a main hub, by the way. That's one of my favorite things. The main hub reminds me of the main hub in the failed Wolfenstein 2009 game. Your ship is a giant hub. There's unlockables in the ship. There's unlockables out in the regular world. And then all of your unlockables as far as like your, you unlock albums. They go on the wall as posters. You can go up to them. You can play parts of the soundtrack of old games, new games, Quake, whatever. Wolfenstein. And then you can go into his room. Inside of his room, they have floppy disks for Doom 1. And then they have all your pop figure collectibles. And then they have cheat codes. Each level, not each level, but almost every level has a cheat code in it. And like one of them is IDKFA, which is the original God mode cheat that gives you all the weapons, all the upgrades. So basically, after you beat the game, go back to a level, play with a cheat, and then you can unlock your other stuff. And I know that sounds like a horrible way to unlock everything, but you're gonna fucking need it when you're playing this game. It is hard, it's difficult, but it's worth it. It's a good sense of accomplishment. So if you're in a game, if you're into games and playing games for a high level of difficulty or high reward, whatever, that's what it is. There's a lot of stuff to be had. There's a lot of replayability. I'm speaking only for the single player mode, as I have not yet played the multiplayer. And I actually am kind of excited to get into multiplayer, and I'm excited for, they don't have it yet, but they're going to patch in supposedly a mode where people can go in as demons into a single player game. I want that. I wanted that while I was playing the game, and it didn't happen. But it lets you play, it like teases you in the single player mode of what it's like to play as a demon, because you get to take over a revenant in one of the levels, and that was pretty cool. And I like the movement and the fluidity of actually playing as a revenant. You can unlock new skins for your Doomslayer. You can unlock new armor. You can unlock new skins for all of your weapons, classic skins and such. I carried around the classic shotgun for the entirety of my game. I ended up just switching my skin over to a Doom 1 Red Marine. But you can also do that with the enemies too. You can change the skin on them. So that's the gameplay and the progression system and stuff as a whole, collectibles, replayability. Now, for the improvements that they made to the game cosmetically. Mick Gordon did a fantastic job on this. I loved Doom 2016. That soundtrack was played a ridiculous amount on my Spotify. Mick Gordon was in, for like the last 4 or 5 years, he was in the top listened to on my Spotify Wrapped every year. He did an amazing job with this game. The music is awesome. It fits perfectly as far as like the metal choir and all that stuff, the hell choir, and just doing the firefight metal chugging that we all know, that everything fit so perfectly. The sound effects were amazing. I believe they're super improved over 2016, which was already set a high bar for this type of game. And they reverted back to original designs for every enemy, which is awesome. I loved the designs of the characters in 2016. I'm sorry I'm slurring. I'm getting very tired because of my meds. Bear with me. It doesn't matter what time of day I would do this. This is bad. I love the designs of the characters in 2016. I have the pop figure for the fucking Cyber Demon up there. But seeing the Cyber Demon come back as the one that I know from Doom 2, that was on the cover of Doom 2, was amazing. And fuck the part of the game where they threw 3 of them at you at one time while you're fighting off mini hordes, by the way. But seeing all these characters as just upgraded versions of what I loved back in the 90s, it made the game feel more like Doom. Like Doom 2016 was Doom. It went back to its roots, but that was based off of you played Doom 3 and then you went and played Doom 2016. Now it's going from playing Doom 2016 to taking a big step back in the past. And it followed suit with what was Doom 1. Doom 1 took place in outer space. And Doom 2 was Hell on Earth. And that's exactly what they did with these. So they kept the lore the same. And they acknowledged that it's, been a previous thing. But they also they rebooted the series properly. So instead of it being a big industrial backgrounds and such, this one's a lot more colorful. It's on Earth, a lot of bright skies, all this shit. They did a great job transferring it. This one's a lot more colorful, and it looks like the 90s. Everything about this game screams the 90s, whereas Doom 2016 was kind of like an homage to it. This game would have, if it would come out in the 90s, it would fit perfectly. So if you're a fan of Doom as a series, I mean, you already have it. But if you're on the fence about it, just bear in mind, it's nerve-wracking. You can beat it, but it is fucking difficult. If you're used to being able to camp somewhere, there's no such thing as camping. It will not happen. Even in Doom 2016, I could park somewhere and I could pick off half the enemies before I started a gore nest. The gore nests are just secrets in this game because the regular firefights are so ridiculous. You open up that auto map and it shows you where each firefight's going to happen. And then each level has secret encounters, which are the gore nests, and then you have a certain amount of time to wipe out enemies, and it's ridiculous. I can feel it. I gotta wrap this up. But it's an amazing game. It is worth your money. It is worth your time. Please go out and check it out. By all means, it is not a perfect game. You will get frustrated on the platforming. I guarantee you, I don't care how great of a gamer you think you are, you will drop the ball on the platforming and have to go back, especially later on in the game when you have to do a platforming area to a platforming area to a platforming area. You fall at the end of the last one and you have to start all the way back at the beginning. It's gonna piss you off. but it's so worth it to just press on and do it. Every game has things in it that you don't like. There are things in this game that you may not like, but the pros definitely outweigh the cons. And the progression system, if you were a fan of it in Doom 2016, it's just 10 times better. There's a lot more things you can do. It's not the depth of an RPG, but it feels like they're leaning towards it. And if this is what the future holds for Doom, it's just an upgraded version of what's already in this one, just like this was an upgraded version of what was in Doom 2016, I am completely okay with that. Thank you guys for watching. I hope everyone stays safe because I'm sick right now and this shit is not fun. It feels like somebody's tearing apart my chest. I'm pretty sure you can see it in my fucking face. I'm trying my best not to look like I'm dying. But thank you guys for watching.